For this problem, we're going to graph it by plotting points. I'm actually going to use a graphing calculator. And then we're going to draw the graph of its inverse. So here's what we're going to do. Let's just type it in. Go to y equals. Second catalog is the easiest place to find the ABS, which is absolute value. Then type in the x. Get out of there. And then type in plus 12. And hit graph. And you won't be able to see it because it's out the screen. You can always do zoom. And then go down and find zoom fit. And hit enter. So you can see it. It still doesn't tell us much. So what we can do is go to the table. You'll see 0, 12 is a point. You'll see 113 is a point. Okay. I have to make sure these are counted by ones. And they are. You also see that negative 113 is a point. And you should know by now how the absolute value of x looks. It's a v. Now, I'm actually going to label those points. 0, 12, 1, 13, and then negative 1, 13. To graph the inverse, did you know all you got to do is interchange those points? So if 0, 12 is a point, then 12, 0 is going to be a point. And then 13, 1, and then 13, negative 1. And that's the inverse. Look at those points. You interchange x's and y's. That's all you're doing. That's the easiest way. Now there's another way. And by the way, it says use a line of y equals x, which is something like that. You just flip it over. It's easier just to interchange the points. Now I'm going to show you something. I'm going to keep that right where it's at. There's the inverse feature on your calculator. It's under the draw. It's a draw inverse feature. So hit second program, which is a draw. Yours may be different. And then you should find, if you go down, draw inverse. Hit enter. Then I'm going to put the function, if I can, inside parentheses. Or in parentheses. So I want to bring up the absolute value. X. And then plus 12. Close it. And then hit enter because we're drawing it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom 6 and get out of there. I'm going to have to change the window. 12 is kind of big, so I'm going to change everything to 20. Negative 20, enter, 20, enter, and I'm counting by twos. That's why I'm changing the scales to 2. Negative 20, enter, 20. It's kind of a good rule to follow. If you do 20s, you do 2s, because 10s you use 1s. Then I hit graph. Now I see the first one. I'm going to have to go back to my draw feature. I'm going to hit second, enter. That brings it back up. So I have to retype it again. Then I'm going to hit enter. And there it is. See that? So it actually may be easier to do it by hand. At least once you find the main function, then the inverse is pretty simple. You just interchange the points. But there is a draw feature on the graphing calculator. The only thing you have to remember, if you do use a draw feature, make sure you go to second draw and you clear out 1. Enter. Well, you gotta do a plain screen. Second draw 1, enter. Because you don't want to see that graph anymore. Otherwise it's going to stay there. And always go zoom 6. Takes you back to a standard window setting.